So Le Mans has come around, and the Toyotas are fast. So yes, I'm going to be covering some of the 24 Hours of Le Mans stuff. This isn't going to be any super, in-depth commentary, and to be honest, I'm not that well-versed in the World Endurance Championship and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But I can give a little bit of insight from what I know and what I can see on the stuff that I look into. So, it was an interesting day of racing at Le Mans. We had 2 practice sessions and a qualifying session. Actually, it went FP1 qualifying and then FP2. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into free practice 1 first. I'm going to talk about the top drivers overall and then the top drivers in each class, and then I'll have a little rundown on how each class is going. So, top of the timing charts in FP1, the Toyota, the number 7 Toyota at a 3:29.3. Second, the number 36 Alpine at a 3:29.395, which is about a second slower than the Toyota's time. And then the third place is the number 8 Toyota with Kaz Nakajima at a 3:29.396. So literally 1/1000th of a second separating the two second and third place hypercars. Looking at the top of the LMP2 class, you have the number 22 United Autosports car with Felipe Albuquerque putting in a 3:29.441. So only about a 10th off the top hypercars and ahead of both of the Glickenhauses. So, yeah, the G-Drive car was also up there ahead of both of the Glickenhauses in 5th, the number 26 G-Drive car at a 3:30.0. That was still about 2/10 quicker than both of the Glickenhauses. Looking down at the LMGTE section, top GTE overall, you've got the AF Corsa, number 52 at a 3:50.1. Top GTEM car was the Team Project 1 car at a 3:50.19. Now looking at the overall time charts in GTE, you've got the Corvette, number 64 Corvette, second overall in the timing charts. Though looking down further, you've got the number 63 Corvette, second to last in the GTEM charts. And then, of course, you've got the 4 Porsches spread out. You got the... Okay, so basically going over the results, you got the number 52 AF Corsa, 64 Corvette, 91 main Porsche factory team, 51 AF Corsa, number 79 WeatherTech Porsche, number 72 Hub Auto Porsche, number 63 Corvette, and then the number 92 factory Porsche. And then in the LMGTEM category, you've got GR Racing in second, Dempsey Proton third, and Absolute Racing fourth overall in that. So I don't pay a lot of attention to the World Endurance Championship stuff, but especially not GT cars. So forgive me if I'm messing up on stuff or just not giving good insight here. So yeah, again, let's go ahead and get on to pre-qualifying, I guess I'll call it. So overall, who qualified for the Hyperpole session? All 5 of the hypercars. Looking at the LMP2s, you've got the 38 Jota Sport, number 26 G-Drive, number 41 WRT, number 65 Panis Racing car, and the number 32 and number 23 United Autosports cars. Looking at the timesheets, you've got the Toyota number 7, again, top of the time charts at 3:26.2. Second is the 36 Alpine at a 3:27.0. And third is the number 8 Toyota at a 3:27.6, 1.3 seconds behind their sister Toyota. So, interesting, at least in the first 2 sessions, that the 7 was the fastest by quite a bit. So that's something to watch out. In 4th, you have a Glickenhaus car. So the number 708 Glickenhaus was ahead of all the LMP2s. The number 709, they seem to be struggling quite a bit this weekend compared to especially how they were at least at Monza when they had already done a race at Portimao, and then the number 708 hadn't. So seems that the 708 team is getting their stuff together as it's not their first ever WEC race. Looking on to the LMP2 class, obviously you got the Jota fastest, 5th overall. Sixth fastest overall and second in the LMP2 class was the G Drive car. Like I had said, Team WRT, Panis, and then there's United Autosports cars. Some interesting misses, which was from the first session. You had the number 22 United Autosports car that was fastest LMP2 overall and fastest in both the Glickenhauses. Doesn't make Hyperpole by quite a bit because they were behind. I mean, it was the slowest United Autosports car by like, I don't know, half a second. It's quite a big difference for having been the fastest United Autosports car in the first session. So looking down to the GTE category, you've got GTE Pro, the two AF Corsas qualifying for Hyperpole, the two factory Porsches, and the Corvette number 64, and the number 72 Hub Auto Racing. So yeah, you've got most of the factory cars in there. Got the two factory Ferraris and the two factory Porsches. Only one Corvette that was the faster number 64 Corvette. Or I say faster, but I mean, what we've seen has been faster so far. This is all, there's not any specific faster Corvette, but yeah, enough rambling. And then the Hub Auto Racing Porsche made it in, beating out the number 63 Corvette for that final spot in Hyperpole. Looking down at more specific results here, you've got obviously the two AF Corsa cars, Porsche factory car, then the number 64 Corvette, number 72 Hub Auto, number 91 Porsche, and then seventh, just missing out on Hyperpole by about half a tenth, was the WeatherTech Porsche, and then that number 63 Corvette was actually quite a bit out. They were out of Hyperpole by like 2 seconds, so huge gap there. Looking over at GTE AM, you've got the Dempsey Proton number 88, number 86 GR Racing, number 47 Chedelar car, number 71 Inception Racing, number 56 Team Project 1, and the number 33 TF Sport cars qualifying for Hyperpole. And near the beginning of the qualifying session, there was actually a crash going into Tetra Rouge. The number 48 IDEX Sport car looked like he just spun out at the entry of the corner, probably hit the grass on entry or something. Just kicked the rear end out and backed it into the wall at Tetra Rouge. I mean, it's just a mistake. They had to fix the left side of the car, and the rear wing had also fallen off. They were able to get that fixed before the final practice session, so good job by the IDEX Sport team getting that car fixed up in time for final practice. So moving on to free practice 2, the final practice session of the night, and this one was at night in the dark. It was practice for overnight running in the race. So looking up at the top of the time charts, you've got the hypercars where they belong, all in the top 5. So the top 5 cars were all hypercars. Looking at who that was, well, the 2 Toyotas were top of the board, and this time the 8 car was the fastest, with Brendan Hartley clocking in a lap at 3:29.351. Second was the number 7 Toyota. Kamui Kobayashi clocked in a 3:29.738, so 3 and a bit tenths off of his teammate. Third was the Glickenhaus number 708 of Olivier Pla, with a 3:30.112. Fourth was the Alpine 36 at a 3:30.744. And fifth was the number 709 Glickenhaus at a 3:31.1. So Glickenhauses are still at the bottom of the board there in that, but they're better than they were before. They didn't get beat by any LMP2s, and the 708 was faster than the Alpine. So that might have just been that the Alpine didn't get a chance to get in a good lap, but promising-ish for the Glickenhaus guys. Again, I've said this in past videos, but if they can keep their reliability together, they have a better chance than the Alpines, just because they have 2 cars compared to Alpine's 1. So, yeah, Toyotas seem to be fast, in case you wondered. So looking on to the LMP2 class, you've got the Jota Sport number 38, fastest, with Antonio Felix da Costa clocking in a 3:32.390. That was about a little more than a second, 1.2 or so seconds off of the slowest hypercar, the number 709 Glickenhaus. So it looks like, at least in the night, there is a significant gap between the hypercars and the LMP2s. Of course, not near as big of a gap as the LMP1 cars had, but there's definitely still a gap. Not as much, or much bigger than the morning practices, where at least the Glickenhauses were getting beat by LMP2s. So that's good to see that the top class cars are still top class at this point. There's been some times where, I think there was a session earlier this year where a LMP2 was actually fastest. So, yeah. Anyways, looking on to second in the LMP2 class, the number 70 Real Team Racing car of Loic Duval, clocking in a 332.608. Third in the LMP2 class was the number 22 United Autosports car. Philip Hansen clocked in a 333.076. Fourth in LMP2 was the G-Drive car of Nick DeVries, the 26, with a 333.098. And fifth in the LMP2 class was the Dragon Speed car of Ben Hanley, with a 333.416. Yeah, so looking over at that, you've got the general candidates up there: Jota, United Autosports, G-Drive, Dragon Speed. They're all up there. Interesting to see the Real Team Racing car. I hadn't seen them up that high, at least earlier in the day, so it'll be something interesting to watch. Looking down at the GTE category, you've got the WeatherTech Porsche was the fastest overall of the GTE cars with a 339.018. Second was the factory Porsche at a 349.938. That was the number 91 factory Porsche. Third was the AF Corsa number 52 with a 349.993. And fourth was the number 92 factory Porsche with a 350.589. And fifth of the GTE Pro category was the number 72 Hub Auto Porsche with a 350.877. So it looks like the Porsches are fast. Now, this is what we expected. The Porsches have generally been the fastest GTE out of all the GTEs. Though the Ferrari AF Corsas seem to be able to stick up there quite well. Yeah, so looking down into GTE AM, you've got Dempsey Proton, the number 88 Dempsey Proton fastest at a 351.452. The number 388 Rinaldi car at a 351.959. Third in LMGTE AM, the number 56 Team Project 1 car at a 352.206. Fourth is the number 18 Absolute Racing car at a 352.371. And fifth is the number 55 Spirit of Race car at a 352.382. So looking at that, you've got, again, some pretty general names you see in the GTE AM class. The Dempsey Proton cars, the Team Project 1 cars. Those guys, I mean, they're up there all the time. But speaking of Team Project 1, the number 46 Team Project 1 car had crashed right at the end of the session. It looked like it's at Tetra Rouge as well. On the replay, it's not exactly that easy to see, and I didn't have a clip saying exactly where it was. But there also wasn't exactly a replay clip of it. There's just a clip of the car in the wall, so that's all I got. But yeah, the number 46 Team Project 1 car, that's something they'll have to fix for tomorrow, though they've got all night. I mean, I don't know if they have all night. I don't know what the World Endurance Championships curfew rules are, but I don't know. That'll be something they'll have to fix later in the week, or throughout the week, and then hopefully that doesn't end up setting them back too much. They were Team Project 1. They were actually quite far back in the GTE AM category. They were third slowest even before the crash at a 355.1. So not looking great for the 46 Team Project 1 car, while their teammate is third overall in GTE AM. So that's my amateur assessment of Le Mans. If you guys watch sports car racing and have any tips on what I could say or what I missed or stuff to pay attention for, I'm all ears. If you have any suggestions, you know where to put them. Tell me in the comments. So, yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll have another review of the happenings going on coming out tomorrow at probably about the same time, maybe a little earlier because we got home late tonight. So, yeah, that's about all I have. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you all then. Bye.